Dr. Velumani, good morning. How are you doing? Amit, are you
Good
shooting
morning.
from
Life is good, though it can be better.
camera? I love your punchlines.
ये
And I
दिन
have read a lot about you now, and I know much more than I knew for the first time. So I'm prepared this time.
wonderful.
so, so before we just get started, I'll just give you a brief. So there are a couple of questions which we have sent you more or less.
Right.
So we'll start that. I'll welcome you, and then we'll start with one question, and you give the answers. If I have some questions, follow-up questions, I'll ask you. Otherwise, we'll move to the second one.
Perfect. You
Sound
can go.
good? Okay. Okay, Ayush, everything ready? Camera rolling?
Yes, camera rolling, all set. Let's go.
Okay, everybody say mute, please. Namaskar, Dr. Velumani. Welcome to the show. We are very happy to have you here. And I believe for all our listeners and viewers, this is going to be a very exciting interview because you are someone who has inspired a generation of lot of employee to entrepreneur people who are looking at starting their own businesses, and you have become a role model for them. That and if you can do it in such a huge manner, it gives them a lot of inspiration to start. So great work there. So
Thank you very much for inviting me to this talk. My story, when I narrate, it is not a concocted, it's a marinated story, which youth from villages, youth from poverty will certainly get energized, motivated. And also those who have some kind of inability to take risk will probably see that as an opportunity.
Lovely, excellent. So to start the interaction with you, I was reading an article where you mentioned that you started your journey as an entrepreneur with just rupees 500. How did you make that possible? What are the top 2-3 things which help you succeed right in the starting point?
Whenever people write about me, they get over-excited and they write a little, exaggerated. This 500 rupees was in my pocket when I reached Mumbai in 1982. To be precise, August 18, 1982. I landed in Mumbai, and this was the only money I could manage to get and reach to Mumbai. So the entry into Mumbai with 500 rupees and the exit from Mumbai with a 5,000 crore check. That's how the journey is. But in between, I worked for 15 years in BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center, as an employee, patiently, because I didn't know I can also be an entrepreneur. And my wife was also working with State Bank of India. Because of both of us living frugal, I had 2 lakh rupees of closing balance in my account, which made me to think that this is enough to start. And then it was the story. So the business was started with a 2 lakh rupees of hard-earned, saved money. It was not my father's money to burn. It was not investors' money to burn. It was my own money to be carefully operating into the business.
So when you started the journey of being an entrepreneur, and of course you would have faced your set of challenges. So if you would share with us, what were the 2 or 3 things which you did right in the beginning, which helped you get a great momentum and a great start?
I think challenges are bound to be there always whenever you get onto something. That too, especially a kind of entrepreneurial journey. For a Madarasi to be in Mumbai and doing business was the biggest challenge. A scientist suddenly jumping into balance sheet is not something really easy. And also a government officer who had a luxury either to work or not to work while sitting at now there is no choice. You have to work from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. So these were all the routine challenges. Having said that, getting people to work for you after training, they should stick to you. This is another big challenge. And of course, people today say without money you can't do business, and without big money you can't do business. But having said that, I believe in one punchline of my own: निकल पड़ो, रास्ता अपने आप बनता है. I got moving, and if you see me today as a very powerful entrepreneur, I learned it on the fly, on the go, in the business. I think there is another way I put it to entrepreneurs: make mistakes, make all mistakes, make them very fast, and don't repeat. I think that is their story. But having said that, what product you make is what exactly market wants is the common reasons for failure. But if you have truly made a product which is a need of the society, need of the market, then I think your product becomes a pull product. Then you don't have to push it. So I was fortunate at that time, 30 years back, when no technologies were available, nowhere thyroid testing was that easy. I could manage to bring in. I think what made it very powerful is pricing. Very often people price thinking that I don't want to face losses. Let me tell another punchline here. जो कम लेना चाहता है उसको ज्यादा ही मिलता है, जो ज्यादा लेना चाहता है उसको कम ही मिलते हैं. I priced it very low. I think in this business of what I have done, three things are very important: quality, cost, and speed. Kept all the three intact. My problems were least. In fact, I am tempted to tell I had no problem at all.
Brilliant. Lovely to hear that. Now, since you brought in a point which you said that a lot of business owners have this thought that only when if I have the big money, I can do big business. Now, and many of them do not attempt to go to those levels, and they have a fear, since I don't have access to huge funds currently, probably I will not be able to become a big business owner. So what is your message to such business owners struggling with these thoughts?
I think let me start with the punchline there. If you think not having money is the only problem, and when you get the money, that becomes the only problem. So this is something which people are not aware of. Nowhere money comes free. Either 13-14% interest or 20-30% returns. The man who funds you in equity will be needing it. Very important first is to set up a small unit economics. And then unit makes sense, make 1 unit to 2 unit, then 2 to 4, then 4 to 8. I think if you keep doing it, even if 1 becomes 2 in 1 year, 2 becomes 4 in another year, when you finish 20 years, you have built a huge business. Having said that, I was fortunate to be in a services industry which doesn't need too much of capital requirement. Second thing I want to hear to tell a punchline: it's a medical business, it's a healthcare business. No one opens the syringe before the customer opens the purse. So funding is done by the customer. I think the customer funds your business will always keep growing. If it is the investor who should fund it, sometimes it could stop and you might have problem. Fortunate for me, I worked with a negative working capital for all 25 years.
Lovely, brilliant. And I picked up a very good point of what you said. You take a unit, you make that unit profitable, and then you duplicate that success. And that way, without huge inflow of funds, you will be able to grow and scale your business, if I've got that thing right. So
you're absolutely right. Please don't first make profit, then scale the profit. Unfortunately, many nowadays scale the loss.
I understand what you're saying. Yes, we see that quite often nowadays. Now, another aspect of building business I would like you to throw some light on. Now, when you would have started, you must be wearing a lot of hats, doing a lot of stuff by yourself, because you didn't have a lot of people to work along with you. And then today, Your leaders have taken over the charge. Your teams are handling the entire show. How did you transition from being a doer to a person who delegates and become a leader and then becomes leader's leader? Because a lot of business owners who are listening to this, they're stuck in their morning to evening schedule and they're not able to come out of it. So what would you like to tell them? How can they do this transition?
Again, let me start with the punchline. जो काम करते हैं वो बुढ़े होते हैं, जो काम कराते हैं वो बड़े होते हैं. So this is very, very important. Entrepreneurs very often think I only can do it that way, others cannot do it that way. I think it's very important. You should be a good trainer, best storyteller, and get people as a team, not hundreds together. Get first half a dozen. Make sure that they understand and they help you. Then for each of them, get half a dozen. That also you train. Then afterwards, this dozen and that half a dozen will train everybody who comes inside. As a leader, your job is to set processes, set protocols, say what not to do, leave them, empower them. They will be able to do. Very often we are not empowering them. I don't know from where I could get it. I must tell you, I was the only employee when I started, and then my wife was my second employee. And we kept on, in fact, we kept on taking freshers. I have employed 25,000 freshers in the organization in 25 years, which gave rise to 2,000 gems who are very, very focused resources. I think business is nothing but understanding HR, understanding their potentials. I was the one who kept on telling on the stages to English is a language, English is not knowledge. Qualification is just qualification. Knowledge only is going to help you. So in some way, I could recognize boys with chamak. Hindi में बोलते हैं chamak, chamkaya. Chamak दिखा तो चमकाते हैं. So I think I will also say with a punchline, every organization will have underpaid assets and overpaid liabilities. As long as you recognize them correctly, you will be running a huge, powerful organization. I was running an organization in which at the 25th year, the mean age of the employee was 25. So that's the journey of taking freshers. Industry had 25% HR cost. I had 11% HR cost. So mine was very powerful, young, energetic team, which my competition could not match.
Brilliant, lovely. They always say when the student is ready, a teacher appears. And as you rightly said, that success is the result of constant development, evolution, personal growth, skill development. Now, what would you say, like in the journey of a business owner, what is the role of a mentor or a role model? Does a role model or a mentor is needed for a business owner to evolve and grow? What are your thoughts about that?
See, I am an old, bald, bold man, and I have sold my business also. And let me tell you why I said that I am old. In my days, there were no coaching classes. Mm-hmm. And I never had a luxury of asking someone what next to do or what is that. So I grew up without mentor. And in business, I didn't have mentor. I take decisions I learn by making mistakes only, not by asking someone. I was intelligent enough to learn the mistakes very fast and corrected them. Having said that, today's generation, especially those who were born after 2010 or 1990, they have gone through a lot of coaching classes and they have exhibited their intelligence, which is polished by someone. So today in business, they also need, in fact, business is very, very complicated. It has not less than a dozen different departments which need excellence to run. And I don't think any man is capable of knowing all to begin with itself. But having said that, I keep asking people, can you lift a buffalo? So they suddenly say, no, sir, I can't lift a buffalo. Then I ask them, can you lift a buffalo calf which is just 1 day old? He says, yes, I can. 2 day old, yes, I can. 3 day old, he says, I can. Then I tell, keep lifting for 300 consecutive days. You are lifting an adult buffalo. So I have managed to lift my buffalo in that style, not by asking someone to help to lift it. But having said that, if you want to lift even an adult buffalo, then you need mentors. So I am saying there are only two kinds of people, one who is successful after self-mentoring. The others need mentors, and nothing wrong in having mentors if you feel that it helps you. But having mentored many people, I have noticed, they only call us mentors, but they don't follow us. So this is very often noticed. I think ultimately it matters to the man who drives how to drive. I think he should learn own driving so that he doesn't need a mentor in the long run. Read a lot, listen a lot, suno sabki, karo apni.
Brilliant, brilliant. So two messages I'm taking away from this. One is that mentors are good for you to grow. You should learn from them. And the biggest thing, if you have a mentor, you follow them. You submit to benefit, not just listen and just forget about it, because that will not help you to grow eventually. So what another aspect, see, in your journey in creating a profitable unicorn, if I would ask you, what were the few mistakes which you recognize today in the hindsight, which you made, and or there could be some common mistakes which other people also might be making, and you would like to tell about that who are listening to you right now? How do you avoid such mistakes, and what are the cost of these mistakes? A little bit your thoughts on that.
If I say in my journey I have never done a mistake, that would be too difficult to believe. I have a way of explaining it. One is error, second one is mistake, third one is failure, the fourth one is blunder. If you have recognized it by end of the month, it error. You have recognized by end of the quarter, it is mistake. You have recognized by end of the year, it is failure. But if you have not recognized for 10 years, it was blunder. I think in my journey, there were a lot of errors, which I corrected very early. I think if you don't take decision, you can't be successful. And if you take decision, there will be errors. Corrected these errors, you are the most powerful businessman. So if you ask me, there were nothing truly I have today to look back and say, because of that, I suffered. But having said that, where do people go wrong by and large? They create exaggerate and create an unbelievable target for them to impress either the in-laws or the investors. And then succumb under the pressure. While doing so, they borrow, they take any possible funding. They look at a man, how he is attire, and they imagine he can be the CEO. They hire them and thinking that he will produce magic result. So funding unnecessary, wrong choice of HR, and very often wrongly designing the presentations for the product. Last but not the least, majority of the entrepreneurs have failed because they have overpriced it. They don't understand it. So pricing goes wrong, leadership goes wrong, funds management goes wrong, and sometimes many go wrong, but one can lead to other things going wrong. I am of that opinion. I keep on telling people, ideas are like sperms, only 1 in a million works. And if that has to work, a lot of things have to fall in place. Otherwise, failure is very often is the result. So I think very often leadership, as I said, pricing and also inappropriate fund utilization.
Lovely. So, Dr. Velumani, you are going to be there as a speaker in the Indian Wealth Summit 2.0. What should business owners expect to learn from you in these sessions?
In fact, I want them not to expect anything and then come, because always disappointments and failures are you are expecting too much. But having said that, they can come with a clarity. What is success? I will learn. What is happiness? I will learn. Success is different. Happiness is different. And once I learn what it is, I will understand how difficult or easy to get it. I'm going to listen to someone who had been there, done it. So he's not a theoretical professor. He is man who has, who is going to talk the walk. Very often people talk and then they don't walk. There are some people who walk well, but they can't talk. And I am probably one man who has walked well and probably will energize people and make sure that they go home with a lot more energy, a lot more clarity. Okay, means I need to have number one patience. I can't become overnight billionaire. Number two, this man has focused on 15-gram gland in a 100-kilogram body. So focus gives success, and I must not do many things. I must do one thing. This man says he had made his own money for doing business. That means he followed frugality, and the entire journey he has never borrowed, never paid an EMI. Oh, what a powerful story. So it is possible if I live frugal. And he says discipline can put you in the ultimate success. I think I very often become indisciplined. I don't focus as consistently I should. More than anything else, let me tell you, be it a father or a leader, both should remember people in front of you will not listen to you, but they will follow you. So don't preach, practice. So this is something people would learn, and then there are a lot more. And I'm a man who will entertain. My talks very often are not PowerPoint driven lectures. They are all, on a stage 45 minutes to 1 hour. I completely engage them, telling my story, telling how it all happened. And then people will realize that aisa bhi hota hai. I think that's how they would have a learning. I'm pretty sure, irrespective of age, irrespective of the stage of business, they will realize here onwards, I will reset my business. This is how I believe my talks have been impacting the to-be entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurs who are on the scaling up.
Lovely. Beautiful, Dr. Velumani. It was my pleasure to host you today. It was a brilliant interaction. I'm looking forward to meet you again and again and again and learn from you. It was absolutely my pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.